and wrapped his feet in toilet paper and set it on fire.
Okay, I'm not saying you should have set the toilet paper on fire.
Yeah.
But you put nair on somebody's eyebrows before they have a chance to wake up and they go take a shower.
Because he caught his feet on fire before he was woke.
And you wonder what we talk about before the show.
And we're live.
Alrighty. Hey guys, welcome to EPS ParaTalk. I'm Robert, and this is
Janie. Hi guys.
You almost sound like me at this point, the way your voice kind of going out of there.
Freddie, I am here today. I'm here. Hello, Amber.
God help.
Got a little preview of what we do before we start.
I keep trying to sneak it on, man. I'm trying to get her engaged in conversation because if not, she's gotten really good about watching for when I go live.
Hello, Gina.
So I usually
Hi, Gina.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're here, Gina. I got a feeling it's going to be a pick on Janie day. I need you.
Pick on
what?
Pick on Janie day.
I love the way you get in front of a camera and you have learned to go ahead and go, I'm so helpless and defenseless.
No, I'm not helpless. I'm not helpless, honey. Don't ever
I'm
confuse.
such an angel with
Don't confuse it.
those harsh ass horns hanging up here. Yeah, I like it because she keeps wearing these hoops when we go live. I'm gonna be like, come here, sis. Let me talk to you for a second.
See, Gina?
I just say I can get her attention a little bit easier. Samantha, thanks for being on. Dawn, thanks so much for joining us. Just give it another minute or so. Let people go ahead and anybody set the little message reminder. Let them jump on.
I'm trying to share out.
Share out for us, guys.
We definitely appreciate it. Freddie, I know you're over there. Hate to interrupt you so you can multitask or not, but
I can't multitask.
All right.
I'm gonna give it
how
a
you
shot.
doing today there?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to be here, sir. Good to be here. Good to be next to Janie.
Samantha's like, I feel like every day's picking up.
day. Yeah.
Sean's got us about there as well. Val, hey,
Hi,
what's going on,
honey.
Val?
Sean's on here.
Sean.
Hi,
what's up?
Val.
Hey, Val.
Sean, yeah, I was talking about Sean just recently. I explained how we have to make him a cameraman because if not, sometimes we could, people would hear some concerning sound somewhere in the background and come find out it's Sean.
No, you don't want
Remember
Sean
the nursing
roaming
home?
around. Yeah, we don't want Sean roaming around with nothing to do. We got to keep him busy.
Tim, what's up, buddy?
Hi,
Hey,
Tim.
Tim.
Glad to have you on. Miss you, buddy.
So
I
how
know
are
you've
you
been
today,
trying.
Rob?
Well, let's go, ladies, first.
Oh, Janie, how are you today?
If not, boy, should you know how she is after the show?
Oh,
Oh,
I
my
know.
gosh.
I probably won't make it out alive.
That's why we wait a week. Look at that look on her face.
I'm right.
I hope both of
I
you
can
get
almost feel
explosive
it.
diarrhea right after the show
What in the hell is wrong with you?
for picking on me.
We
No,
never pick
You
on
have to understand, she cooks. What the hell? I mean, we don't. I'll stick with Sean's when Sean's cooking. Other than that, I'll eat out. That guy.
I would never do that to somebody's food. I'm good.
You
To somebody's feet.
Somebody's food, I would never
She's
do
still
that
hung
to
up on
somebody's
feet, man. You got a feet issue or what? What is
It's
up
all
with
about
that?
feet issue. My foot is hurting now. I don't know what I did to it.
It's called beanness.
No, I think it's
Slowly
called old
coming out.
age. It's what it's called.
All right, guys. One of the things we definitely want to talk about today is going to be pareidolia and the effects it has in the field because there's quite a bit. And we actually got
We'll give you just a small example. Everybody thinks these two are such nice guys. Look a little closer.
What's your point?
See? That's a form of pareidolia.
no.
See,
Form of
it looks
pareidolia
as
is
though
saying,
he's
look,
hugging me. He's actually pulling my hair.
Don't you just love me, Janie?
Ow, he's pulling
Don't
my
you just
clip
love
out.
me?
Hey, Chrissy.
Jeez. Gina, help.
Chrissy, thanks for being on. So, you want to give us start off with a rundown on pareidolia?
Pareidolia is apparently a big topic here lately, and you go through Facebook, go through a lot of the channels and stuff like that, and you see all these pictures, videos of people posting stuff, and you need to take a step back, take a minute back,
Look a
and
little closer
look
at it,
picture, and I mean, if you got to pause it, rewind it, look at it again and again and again and again. There's usually something else that's happening.
So, in short, you're telling me that most of the stuff we see, a lot of the stuff, or a little bit of the stuff that we see on Facebook and the internet is not actually paranormal. Is that what you're trying to say?
That is
Probably
correct.
90% of it.
That is correct.
Theo, thanks for being on, buddy. Long time. And that's something we need to look at because, you look, this year, unfortunately, being a little bit more direct, so I'm going to definitely hurt some people's feelings. everybody does not get a participation award in the paranormal, because it's not a matter of, oh boy, everybody's caught something. That's the whole point of the paranormal. Is it's not very easy to catch. Not very easy to catch things that you can confirm. It's very, very difficult, actually. Everything is not paranormal. I mean, the shows will have you believe that everything is paranormal. It's not. It's no different than everything on the show is creepy and horrible. And I go back to the best example I have, tell that to a client that found 16 ounces of gold. Pretty much sure it wasn't the devil that gave her the gold, okay? Just being honest, okay? That's just my personal view, but I'm going to stick with it. So pareidolia, who's affected by the pareidolia? Are investigators affected by pareidolia?
Real investigators can be, but good ones will look at it over and over and over and over and over to make sure they can't debunk it before they put it out there and call it a ghost. That's a ghost. No, it's a shadow.
So if you have a brain, I'll hit you right back. Try to hold that thought. If you have a brain, in all sincerity, you're subject to pareidolia. So it doesn't matter if you're, to Janie's point, even investigators are absolutely subject to it, but they take the time to go back and still try to debunk their own work. That's the most important critical aspect, right?
Well, and we have got many videos and pictures from people that send us stuff to, hey, look at it, give me your honest opinion and stuff, and we give them this, we give them.
And then they get angry because you can't confirm that it is an actual
Yeah,
ghost.
some get upset, some get, well, this is not what, and you're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, no, that's not what it is. Then
Right.
why did you ask us?
Yeah, we look at it as there's other explanations why this is.
And as long as there can be one more explanation somewhere for it, then you have to throw it out.
Right, and we debunk first. We debunk.
We probably
whatever
debunk 80% of what we capture if we
Yeah,
can't beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Now, we get just as excited as anybody else. I mean, if you watch our live videos, you're going to watch when that happens, where the ball that got knocked off the table, it was 20 some seconds after, like 28 seconds. I said, look, I've had one of the balls. We had 2 light up balls, some flashlights. And I said, look, if you don't want us here, all you have to do is knock one of the balls off the table. And it seemed to go off the table pretty significant. And I did get it real quick. I was like, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. That's
because
cool.
it's the natural reaction that you get. I mean, it's going to happen
Right.
to anybody.
Because you can't debunk it in that split second. So you're going to have that human emotion when you first see it. But as an investigator with integrity, before you put it out there for everybody and make the blanket statement that this is real, this is what I caught, you need to go back and make sure you've looked at it from all possible angles to make sure you can or can't debunk it.
Right. And the day with the ball, the issue, we both got excited about it because I was like, well, that's really cool. But then we said, look, we're going to take time to look at it, review it before we do anything, else.
Right.
So
Again, so everybody can, and that's just the excitement of it. That's not even going for force. A real easy way of looking at pareidolia is how often somebody says something to you, you hear it one way, and it wasn't even that, okay? It's like, I say something to Janie, and she's going, the purple elephant, what? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, purple elephant?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that? It's just what she's hearing. And the same thing can happen when you're listening to a recorder. If you take your hand and slide it across, all of a sudden you might think, was that a voice? Did something just,
Right.
you start assuming that might be, and that's why you have to be very careful when you're doing recordings, because pareidolia can be both visual and audible. They can definitely happen.
Theo said, what do you guys think about EVPs?
Let's go. Janie, you're the most non-equipment wise, right?
Right.
We're just being honest.
Right.
So what do you think about electronic voice phenomena?
Hey, Jennifer.
I can't hear them when they play them back unless they're really, really like no way of being able to call it something different. I'm not that person that could put on some headphones, say, oh, I hear that in the background. No, it's got to be right up front and really clear for me to hear it. But I do believe that EVPs are a great way to capture actual spirit voices. But you got to be careful what you call a spirit voice. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Freddie? EVPs.
I'll be one to tell you, I can't hear nothing. So my hearing is really bad. But I have heard stuff on EVPs.
The one with Michael Hang On.
Right.
Yes, because that was so clear, though.
And it's so tough for people to understand that, but you have to be there to really witness that, especially when there's certain people in the room and that's it. There's no one else, and then you get that voice back.
Right,
It's
right.
totally awesome. Yeah. So,
when you have, it's just like we played last week. We played the one with Kenny where you hear the little boy go, no. You can hear that pretty damn clear. It's not loud. It hasn't, because that was an unedited portion of it. And then I made it louder the second time you listen to it. You can definitely hear it much better, which is very important. EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, again, as Freddie was saying, there's 3 of us in here. None of us are children. And we have a recorder playing, and we might ask questions. We might be interacting, and we capture a different distinguishable voice on it. It could be even a sound. It could be whistles. There's all kinds of that can be. But when you capture that, a dog barking in the background,
right?
We've got that. We've got cats meowing. There's no cats around because Janie cannot tolerate a cat.
I don't even like the ghost ones.
I'm going to find some locations that have cats.
There we go.
But you play it back. You don't hear it. If you heard it real time, it's a disembodied voice. You play your recorder back and you go, do you realize there was a little kid talking while we were doing this?
Right, but nobody there in the room heard
That's the EVPs. That is the most likely better type of evidence that you're going to be able to capture. But you always keep the raw data. So you always keep a copy of the raw. And if you want to clean it up, that's fine. But you want to have that raw because that's integrity. You want to make sure you have that clip.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon.
Brandon, thanks for
Hi,
being
Brandon.
on. Jamie, thanks for being on.
Hi, Jamie.
Just smack out. All right. Well, never mind. No more shout outs.
Jamie,
She
I'll
does
give
all
you
the
a
time.
shout out every time, honey. You just keep on giving us comments like that.
But when it comes to EVP,
Where you going?
we always review
Gina?
stuff. We always review stuff and we'll listen to stuff, but you will never tell me what it is, because then if you tell me what it is, that's what I'm going to hear.
There you go.
So, you know what I mean? So it's like, let me listen to it. And there's times that I can pick stuff up. There's times that I can't. I'm like, I don't hear what
Most
you
of
hear.
us truly believe that too. It's another way that we consider planting the seed, or we're basically contaminating your thought process.
Which is, again, why we
in
do
all
the
sincerity,
reads
we go-
cold.
We go to a location. Jenny gets nothing. I don't tell her anything.
Yeah,
that's
'cause I
happening
don't
at a
wanna-
location.
I don't want it to be something that's stuck in my head that I may have heard 2 days ago from somebody else about the location. And then when I get there, I can't be 100% sure if that's what I'm picking up or if that's something that's stuck in my head that somebody told me 2 days ago.
Right.
That's why I don't like to know anything.
If I
about
take
it.
Freddie to that location and all of a sudden, I'm using him as another team member, typically the point of contact I'm dealing with, I know what's going on in the location. I know as far as what's happened there. Janie will not. Normally what happens is she'll actually go with Sean and I give them a recorder and have them go do a walk, because I don't want her to be around anybody else, whether they have abilities or not. I want to hear eventually what she picked up on the place without anybody talking to her. The homeowners don't even talk to her. We do the introduction. That's it. Stop. I take the homeowners with me. Freddie doesn't even get the homeowners with him or any of the other team members. Typically, they'll go they'll start setting up. So if they're experiencing anything, even on the start, and I'll even ask, if Freddie picks up something, he's not considered to have abilities, but if he gets a sense of something, I want to know. Jeremy, quick
He
shout
has
out.
an ability to annoy me.
Hey, Jeremy.
Jennifer, honey, I'm going to tell you, my soul would have left my body.
What is it?
She said that a disembodied cat's tail wrapped around her leg. Jesus would not have been the only one that walked on water that day. Oh.
When I was going through the situation with the one individual, and we had the disembodied sounds and the voices in the room, the woman telling them to get out and everything else, which was all cool with me. There was nobody in the room, and I was washing my hair in the sink. And again, on my right leg, there was that long period of something rubbing up against. I mean, you couldn't miss it. I mean, it's pushing against your leg like that. I think that's awesome.
No, Lord
be able to experience
Jesus,
something
don't
like
never
that.
let no cat rub on me. I don't care if he's dead or alive. I don't want him to touch me. Oh, no.
Very cool. So the pareidolia, again, what really creates it or makes it worse is when people enlarge things. Reflective surfaces are not the only things. If you have a carpet that has a pattern to it, then you get matrixing effect as well. Again, it's a trick on your mind. Your mind, millions of times a day, your mind is constantly just firing off, looking at shapes and associating them with known shapes from the past.
Yeah.
It's a normal thing. As soon as you have two dots and a middle dot, all of a sudden you're thinking the mouth is coming below. That's your mind. And we're going to play a short video that's going to show you some things. And I've got matter of fact, while we're on, let's just go ahead and do this here in just a moment. We're going to do it a couple of times, and I want to show it with you guys. I got some people that are seasoned in the field, which is really cool. I want to see what you guys pick up right away. There's going to be 4 pictures. And it's just a way that your mind looks at them and you go, okay, cool. They're only 10 seconds apart. The 4th picture, I want everybody to pay attention to, please. Pay attention to the 4th picture. And when you look at it, I want you to put in the comments, tell us what you got.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's full of coffee today. Every day, usually.
Coffee and Irish cream.
Right.
Nope, just coffee and non-dairy creamer, Jeremy.
No,
Don't
oh, it's
believe
not.
me.
It's now called non-dairy creamer. Okay.
I use the non-dairy creamer because I don't like milk. So I use the powdered non-dairy creamer.
Sure you do, Jamie.
It's your story.
So with that in mind, again, the 4th one is going to be a picture and it's clouds. Now you tell me what you see, please, if you would, and put in the comments. And don't wait to read somebody else's comment. Please go ahead and put yours in there. That would be really, really cool.
Yes, it is, Samantha. I agree. She said milk is nasty. Guys, share this out for us,
They're not hearing
please.
you. We're muted.
Huh. Poke Freddie now? Nobody on that?
Nope, nobody see it. Hold on to it.
We still muted?
Yep, hang on a second. All right. So take a moment, go ahead and type in the comments. What did you see on your last one? You only have basically 10 seconds to look at it. So what did your mind tell you that you side of a man's face? Thank you. Come on, man. You get participation awards on this one.
Come on, Amber. I know you see more there, honey.
Okay, Samantha, but what did you see? And it was not droppings, okay? So please, did you see anything else? You have to open your eyes to see them. Faces, okay. So Jennifer saw 2.
2
or more.
Tim saw George Washington.
Same thing you said.
Tim, you saw the same thing I saw when I saw it.
And said the side of a man's face.
Samantha saw a man's face too. Skulls, faces. All right, so in a very short time, 10 seconds, when you guys look, some people saw with a beard. Just the difference right now of what we saw. Our minds are telling us, physically, those were just clouds. But our minds in a heartbeat were already coming up with designs.
Relating them with shapes and faces that we've already got in our
And the
head.
fact that even the George Washington comment, that was exactly the same comment that Janie had. She goes, oh my gosh, it looks like George Washington there. Now let's go, here's planting the seed. When you get to the 4th one, you got the flower before it that looks like a skull to most of us.
That one did look like just a dead rose to me.
She thought it was just a dead flower, so this is the class that you're in. You're either in Janie's class or you're in the rest of our class, okay?
Guys, join my team.
Now, instead of when you look at it and you see who looks like George Washington, whatever, you see the one man. Now pay attention to the one on the right of it, on the cloud. Pay attention to the one on the right. You're going to see what looks like a horn that comes down with an eye. It looks like the eye's right there. You look like a horn's coming down, and you look, and it looks like the face is elongated. So if you only saw one face, pay attention to the right-hand side.
And now that he's said it to you, you will see it.
This is planting. This is what we call planting the seed. It happens the same way with EVPs. Okay, so again, you got to wait about 30 seconds. You're going to see this, but
Hi, April.
definitely check it out. See what you see this time. I can't expedite it faster. If I could, I would.
Guys, share this live out
Can't
for
hear
us,
you.
please.
We're playing. Oh no, we might be live right now.
Here's
Hopefully.
the flower.
So the flower, she says dead flower looks like a skull to a lot of us, in case you guys can hear right now. Now, if you actually look at this area, the eye, the horn, the nose, the chin, now out of curiosity, Jennifer, now she sees it. And that's like planting the seed. All of a sudden, we start showing you a little bit more. Amber still didn't see it, and that's fine. That's how quick our minds are, though. Like a lot of times, if you play an EVP, somebody say it says this.
Can't see the two now.
A lot of people are. Sam, you and the eyeballs.
Them's Freddy eyes.
Gina said after you pointed out, guys. So,
Now, when you're watching a TV show or even a video on online, and somebody says, "Oh my God, did you hear it? It just said the demon."
Right.
It says it sounds more like, blah, 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 and they're going, "Oh, did you hear that? It said the demon." This is on a lot of popular TV shows because I'm like, what the hell? How did they even get that? It didn't even have the syllables. But when they say it, then there's half the crowd's going to go, "Oh, I heard it."
Yeah, because how many times have we heard things on those shows and they say, "Oh, it said this," and I'm looking at you and you're looking at me like, where did they get that from? I didn't hear that.
She's the slow one in class. It's okay.
Oh.
So if you're with her, think about it.
Anne Marie said she has many pictures like that. So
That's what I just was saying there, dearie.
No,
Yes,
I
you're
know it, but
absolutely
I'm
right.
saying when
We
you and
do.
I
We really
watch them,
do.
we do it all the time.
We really do. I like to give her a hard time. But that's exactly what happens. When we do, I say we really do. How often do we watch a show
Very
like that?
rarely. But if we're scrolling and there's something there, we'll stop and you hear it and you're like, how in the world did they get that from what we just heard?
You know, you turn around and somebody go, "Oh my gosh, look," and you get a mist in front of the camera and you go, "Oh wow, that's," and it looks like a good team. Paranormal National Radio, thanks for jumping on with us. It looks like, you know, a very credible team. They're going, "Okay, here we go," and all of a sudden they capture what seems to be a mist. I'm like, yes, that's cool. And then they turn around to the guy behind the camera and he starts talking, going blah blah blah, and the mist is coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. You're right, Jennifer, it is.
So all of a sudden they're assuming that you have a mist. Once we get to a location, and you'll hear us say this when we're live. Wayne, thanks for being on.
hey, Wayne.
We get to a location and in the environment, we can recreate the mist. And all of a sudden you get a cloud of mist that goes up. We're going to tell you, discount any mist you see. You
Because
can't.
it's cold.
Yeah, it's too cold. We can't say what's what's the other.
Prime example, the big common video going around in Gettysburg, with the apparently the apparition
Going across the
going
road.
across the road when the guy's driving.
Right.
That's a prime example. You wouldn't imagine how many people. Oh yeah, I see that. Oh man, that's a good catch. That's awesome. But
And I saw something on the windshield as soon as you showed it to me. I was like, wait a minute, there's something on the window.
It's a matter of looking at the full picture. When we first look at a video, in that one, because matter of fact, I did a just an advertisement that we're going to go live, and I actually used that one. If you go back on my page, you'll actually see on our page, you'll see where it says, it shows you as far as we're even going to talk about this particular video. It was so popular, it's got over 800,000 views on one page. Okay.
Yes, Amber.
And a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome." Well, there's a reason, number one, why the video is kind of short. And number two, you can't just look at what it's already being telling you it's a ghost. So you're already thinking, okay, it's a ghost.
So they've already planted that seed.
What we have to do, and what you should be doing, is pulling backwards and going, okay, let me see the big picture. Let me see all the picture. Right? And when you do, there's a particular dirt spot on the bottom lower portion of the windshield on the right-hand side. And what it is, if you line that up all the way up, don't look at this screen in a narrow form. Actually look at the full screen. Look at that dirt, and you're going to see a line that goes straight up. And everything that line goes over turns into a blur for a second, because the windshield wiper goes like this and creates a line, and that's moisture. And then if air blows on the windshield, that moisture tends to move a little bit. Yeah. You'll see it now that you know that, and you go back and look at that video, you're going to be like, damn it.
Yep. New Jersey Paranormal was the one who basically
they actually explained it all out, which was fantastic. Yeah. Irene, thanks for being on.
Hi, Irene.
Hey, Irene.
It's just so very important for people to slow down and take the time. Well, look, we're not trying to upset everyone. Sometimes we do. I do. Whatever. We're not trying to upset everybody. We just want to slow people down to have you think for yourself. Jeremy, I'll check those out. Just give me a few. It's just really important for you to slow down and not assume everything is paranormal.
Right.
In locations that we go to, and it happens in such a variety of ways, people automatically assume so often.
Hi, Dawn.
Dawn, thanks for being on.
Hey.
It's like if we go to a location that's this much older and they have the rough cut timbers, what it is it's wood that is not smooth. And what that does to especially women that have, any type of height in their hair, most of the ceilings are a lot lower when you're going into a basement in that type of situation that has the rough cut lumber. Then all of a sudden, when the women start going down there, and it does happen more to the women than it does to the men. But what happens is it'll still going, something's pulling my hair.
And it's your hair getting caught on that rough cut lumber. Yep. I've had it happen to me.
It's not even pareidolia as much as it's just misidentification on that particular point. Your brain doesn't even have to, but you're automatically associating that, oh, my hair got pulled.
Yeah.
What does Wayne have?
Wayne had a pareidolia is so common, happen most of the time. We ourselves have to be real and truthful about our own evidence. I can go out weeks at a time and get nothing, but when I do, it makes it that extra special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wish everybody caught with pareidolia. It's no different than I did a live video where I had my daughter actually help out. And I had her just actually go up and shake the blankets on my bed one time. And then all of a sudden you'll see, and someone would come right at the camera. Ooh,
just like Jennifer. I don't like when people take pictures of windows from outside. Nor knows to take a picture behind you. Or also out of a vehicle, take a picture of a windshield so I can get reflections.
Yeah.
Jennifer is with Grounded Paranormal. And Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong. They had a situation that happened with somebody they know. And they took a picture. And there's something creepy in the picture. First thing I asked for, I don't know what the hell the place looks like. I need you to take more pictures. We do that. You have teams. We're very respectful with other teams and other people. So we want to bounce ideas. Hey, what's your perception on this?
Right.
Doesn't mean I have to agree or they have to agree. But we do want to know. Marilyn, thanks for being on.
Thank you, Marilyn, for sharing.
Sandra.
But what we'll do is we'll say, look, we need more pictures of the environment, not just with the lights out and that one-time picture. Go back, turn the lights on, take another picture. Take a picture without the person being standing there. We want to see which way that the lights are casting shadows. We want to see what objects are back there that from an outside angle looking in, that's the whole point of being an investigator. You're trying to start from the outside. Part of our debunking process, which has a lot to do with pareidolia, it starts from the moment I'm on the phone or talking to the client. I'm trying to figure out rational explanations. Every time you watch these shows, I just watched yesterday, I watched a couple of shows, and they automatically start out. As soon as I talked to her on the phone, I knew this person was under da-da-da-da-da-da. Really? You can decide that fast? BS. Because there are people that are absolutely fantastic. Sandra, thanks for being on. There are people that are fantastic at storytelling. And if you just let them tell the story, they'll go right on with it.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing it by far. Jennifer's confirming, when it had her go ahead and take different pictures, different angles. If you're not there, you don't know. You don't know the light source. Light source plays a lot. You'll see so often somebody goes, oh my gosh, look at this green orb. And the sun is like right in the picture behind them and they're pointing the camera at it. We know what that is. Sun flare, lens flare, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's because you have glass and you have light. Guess what happens? You have anomalies like that. It does not. If you go outside and you're staring there and you see this weird green light bubble mass, whatever, moving around, probably not lens flare. Okay. It's probably something you're really, truly experiencing, unless you ate too many vitamins. I'm just saying.
Jen, I think I know what you're talking about, sweetie.
Yes. Do you remember that one?
I think so.
Again, with Janie being our medium, she gets a lot comes in, and unless till somebody reminds her of it, she keeps, fortunately when she gives it away, she doesn't try to memorize everything.
There's no way I could remember it all. And I'm old. I don't remember what I did this morning.
Go back to hit Wayne's up.
Wayne said, when I do lives at a location, I do ask for screenshots and encourage to take multi-shots, also to timestamp them so I can go back and look for myself to debunk.
Jeremy just brought up a perfect point. And flames. It's so... Flames, again, they're happening so quick, and your mind is quick to be looking at it and go, oh, look, and then you snap pictures and, oh, absolutely. There's a person.
Yes,
burning.
Jeremy, I saw that. I saw one of those pictures.
There's some really, really cool things that come up. But again, somebody on Facebook they just got snow. And I swear their car looked like it was really unhappy. The
It
bumper
did.
and everything had this
It
like
did.
Oh,
The
yeah.
snow had
everything.
had drifted around an
All
angle, so it looked
soft.
like it was frowning.
Yeah, they had one of a Jeep too that had like angry eyes and a sad
Yeah.
face because like it
Yes.
snowed. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi,
And
Bridget.
when you look at it, you absolutely are going, yeah, no kidding. That thing really is upset. It's cold out.
Ticked.
It's all around us. But the problem is we don't take the time to slow down and go, hold on, no. This is our mind playing the trick.
Right, right.
And one of the biggest parallels is like people have these coat racks that hang in the corner of their bedrooms.
Mhm.
Okay, they hang their coats on, the hats on, and stuff like that. So if you're sleeping, you wake up in the middle of the night, look over there, you automatically think it's a person standing there.
Right.
But in reality, it's a coat rack. Yeah.
So Jennifer had brought up about reflective surfaces, windows, horrible. I don't really believe most of what I see in a window because look, there's a couple things. When people are shooting out windows, half the time you don't know that they're sitting inside and there's a reflection because it's the big slider and things that are on the inside are lightly translucent on that window that they're taking a picture of. So if they hold their camera back just a little bit, they're capturing stuff that's actually behind them, not out in front of them. That's one aspect. Even when you're shooting through it, again, with the light, depending on where the lighting is, that creates more issues. Reflective surfaces are absolutely the worst. And again, you have to go back and look at all of it, not just at what they're trying to tell you it is. We've seen that so many times where people say, oh, look what I got. And if you actually look, you can, if you know what you're looking for. Fortunately, I took photography and whatnot in college. So there's a little bit more you know to look for. The average person doesn't. No different than when you see these translucent, these nearly see-through images on black and white. Black and white automatically, 99% of the time, especially at nighttime, definitely. That means even if it's video camera, it's shooting slower. The frames per second are not going at 30 or 60 frames per second, which is moving pretty quick. They might drop down to 12 frames per second, 18 frames per second. So it's going really slow. Well, guess what happens to that image? Now it's not crystal clear that it's four fingers going across in front of you like that. Now it's a blur. So you get it here and it's going across.
You're right, Wayne. You're absolutely right. Wayne says our minds are programmed to see faces most every day.
From the time you're a baby,
In everything.
as soon as you start, the recognition process has already started to recognize, again, who your parents, who your mom is, you know, as far as that tight connection. We got these tiny little gnats that drive me crazy every once in a while. So if you see them, it's not an orb, for God's sakes. Please slow down. Yeah, 1,600, you're doing pretty well. What did Amber have?
Amber had a girl posted a picture of her taking a photo of one of the windows in the Jenny Wade house, and I commented on it, explaining why it would get that effect: the flash, the mirror, the wavy glass, etc.
There you go. Great point. Great point. Glass, the older glass is very wavy. The older glass definitely diffuses and alters and bends.
It even has bubbles
images.
in it.
Yes.
We have a China hutch in our
Yes.
dining room that has the beveled hand-blown glass, and it has little bubbles in it.
Janie collects antiques and has had quite a few of them, and exactly what she's saying. So if you go to take a picture through this, to Amber's point, it's going to obscure things or change things. It's not for what you see it as, but we want so bad to believe it. If you take an orb, if most orbs, hell, at least 50% of them, let's just say 50%. If you take an orb and you blow it up big enough, guess what you see in the middle of it? Eventually, it's a big smiley face. Hi. Do you really think the spirit is sitting in there going, because I'm pretty sure some of them are not too happy with us.
Just saying. With Wayne, he is a paranormal investigator, owner of spirits within paranormal from the United Kingdom. By the way, nice to meet you all. So.
Wayne, thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet
much.
you,
We
Wayne.
appreciate it. Thank you for your input as well. That's very, very important to us.
Jennifer, I think you're right. I really do. She says our minds are live,
Obulus.
ovulous. I believe that.
Absolutely.
I believe that.
It's the point I'm making is try to get from, it's no different. Safety is my profession. So pretty much if it looks wrong, it's probably wrong. If you look at something, you start thinking, something doesn't seem right with this. We were looking at a video earlier that was supposed to be the most realistic ghosts or whatever. It's a freaking deer, two deer behind a tree.
It was.
Because, and Janie got that, no
It
problem.
really
and
was.
she's not into that stuff. And then the others would make these ghosts would have to be about, I don't know, 15, 16 feet tall, because you got already an image of the deer over here, and then somebody transposed these figures that are all doing the same thing, just at different places, which makes them about 15 foot tall if you actually go ahead and
And how many
ratio it
views did that thing have?
unbelievable.
Like
And the
800
likes, you'd be amazed
Yeah,
how
some
many
of them
people really believed that.
Like 863 1,000 views, and I'm just like,
Hi, Shay.
hey Shay. And you can also see where it's almost like an overlay or a hologram, or and there are glitches in it.
There's absolute glitches.
And everything was walking all the same fashion.
And when we say a glitch is what you're looking for when the video is running, is the video running smooth or does it seem to jump? That's where when they splice the video, they didn't do it in a very timely, in a very smooth way. And you'll actually see it just barely skip or just
But most people are so fascinated about the fact that they thought they just saw a ghost. They're not looking at that glitch. Although you saw it almost immediately, most people wouldn't even see it and wouldn't go back to try to see it because they're just focused on the fact that they saw a ghost.
I love Gettysburg. Love it. But everybody that knows Gettysburg knows it for two things: the Civil War and Ghost.
Yes.
And so you go there and in nighttime, you're just it has to be to do with ghosts or has to be.
I love Gettysburg, the place, but I don't like the feeling Gettysburg gives.
You don't like the feeling.
I'll be honest with you. Call me horrible, whatever. I was having fun. I would go there, and at Gettysburg during the summertime, it would be open until 10 p.m. Well, it's dark at 8 o'clock. I'm walking the trails because I'm still trying to go ahead and I want to take pictures and whatnot. But all around you on all these roads, people are just hanging out their car taking pictures. I mean, when it gets popular up there and gets busy, so I'm like doing all these different motions and stuff. Like, eventually, I'm going to be on somebody's camera.
On somebody's camera, your shadow will be. Oh, this is what we saw.
And you have a lot of reenactors, okay? And this is the best part. All time, the day and night, you'll see them walking along the road.
Yeah,
barefoot. I mean, they take the reenactment. I mean,
seriously, yeah.
It's always time like, hey, let me stop the car. Let me get out and touch you, make sure you're real or not, because I'm not sure if you are or not. I mean, how do you know? I mean, we and Melody and I have done that a couple times. Like, there'd be people walking and like, hey, can we get a picture? Like, just
right.
Are you real? Yeah, just me.
Not to say that people don't have actual experiences in Gettysburg or anywhere else. They absolutely do. There's no question. What we're saying is everything that you see online, a lot of what you see online, is a crock. Sorry, it is.
It is.
A lot of people just don't know what to look for, and everybody wants to say that they caught something. I'm going back to Jeremy's comment he made earlier. If you look at it, there's plenty of wood like paneling and stuff. If you actually look at it, some of it looks like, I mean, if you go online, you can find it as well. It looked like a dog's face on there. Nobody cut a dog's face and stuck it in the paneling, for goodness sakes, okay? Whoa, woosa, relax.
Exactly.
But it looks like it.
Yeah. When you said you'd be jumping around, Jeremy's on top of that.
I know somebody has to be taking pictures, and eventually, and it's like there's a speck of light. Flash, and this is on one of the videos we were looking at Gettysburg. There's a little flash light. Oh, look at the black powder. Well, hello. If you have any clue about black powder, it goes, and it's a very slow flash because it's a very slow burn for the powder. And it's not just this little light that goes like that, kind of like a lightning bug might do. Thank you very much. Exactly. Everything is not paranormal. We wish it was. We'd have even more fun.
Wayne Bates says, the thing that upsets me in the paranormal field is the lack of respect I see with spirit. I guess probably spirit interaction. I guess he's kind of talking.
I agree with that 100%. Absolutely.
In a Civil War uniform. Yes, Amber. Yes, I agree with you, sweetie. But again, that's what you have to do. You have to take a step back and look at it twice, 3 times, 4 times, whatever it takes to make sure that there's no way you can debunk that. Because Amber says, if you read her thing there, she says that I was walking past and was it an alley? And I had a quick glance and I had to back up and look down to make sure I saw what I saw. It was a guy in a Civil War uniform just standing there. But see, she stopped and walked back to look again. She didn't just keep walking and say, I saw a dead soldier back there in the alley. You know what I mean?
All right, here at the house, okay, this has happened. I turn around and I'm walking by the stairs that are coming down here, and I look down, and it's not out of the corner of my eye. It caught me out of the corner of my eye. I look down, and I have time to see this very tannish brown coloration go across the doorway at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah. So Janie had just stepped outside. We were walking towards, she was going to go outside, get mail or whatever. So I open the door, call her back and say, Jenny, can you come back down here with me? And I said, can you come downstairs with me? Not telling her what I had just experienced first. I want to see what is her reaction. Does this make sense? Again, I'm not going to go ahead and say, hey, can you look for something brown floating in the air?
Right. No, he always just says, come here a minute.
And Now we have things we look at on the fish tank down here. I mean, there's a lot of things that are down here that she could be looking at. So it's not like the only time I call her is when it's paranormal.
Yeah, because he calls me down a lot of times just to say, hey, come look at these corals. This one's really up today or whatever. You know what I mean?
But I have her come down and I just go through and act like pretty much everything's normal until she goes, and then she can't breathe. And I'm going, okay, well, she's experiencing something. So something probably happened down here. This is pretty cool. And I laugh at her for a moment or two and go, you okay? And she's like, no, this is not cool. Something just stepped right through me and whatever. So then I'll check out the next room while she's shaking that, dealing with that for a moment or two, just out of fun. But, that's what brothers are for, have that.
Yeah.
Have that fun. That's realistic.
Get their sister over here pee in her pants and then laugh about it and go somewhere else.
But again, for us, taking the time, whether you're in the field or if you're just watching, and taking the time to try to learn to debunk for yourself and realize how much the pareidolia does affect us. If you blow up everything far enough, you will eventually, because the pixelation, the dots and everything, your mind's going to create something different. Obviously, if you've ever been around the little ink blot papers that shrinks have, that they try to say, okay,
some see a butterfly, some see a blot of ink.
Everybody is seeing, a lot of people are seeing different things. And supposedly Facebook has the same thing. What do you see first? And I typically don't see what, I guess the majority of the people are seeing or something. I'm seeing something different.
Yes, Jeremy, I agree.
What was that?
He said another one is a shadow created by objects that are placed in a specific way.
Perfect.
Yep.
Right. It happens so often. Shadows are absolutely a creator of so many illusions. Kimberly.
Yeah. Hi, Kimberly.
Well,
that's my girl.
You can sit there in a room and see a shadow go across the wall. Like, oh man, that's pretty cool. You realize that there's somebody walking outside down the sidewalk that's casting that shadow. And
bird flies, vulture comes in close, and depending on where the light is in the house, and all of a sudden you just get a real quick shadow that comes across. A lot of people go, oh my God, I just saw a shadow.
Yeah.
They're not even.
And I have got to say this, not just because she's on here right now, but because I think it should be made light of, because so many teams don't debunk stuff. That's one of the reasons why, I never investigate with anybody else other than EPS.
Except for once.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Okay. The only other person I've ever investigated with is Jennifer and her team. And that's because Jennifer is like that.
Right.
She tries to debunk things before she just calls them out. And I like that. That shows she has integrity. It shows that she's not going to put something out there just to try to make people think that she's the best ghost hunting team there is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I like that. That team truly has integrity. That's why that's the only other team I'll investigate with.
Well, Kimberly, we just started hanging out with Kimberly. She has her own team, and now we're trying to get her over, doing two
Get things. Over here, Kim.
Because she's the same way. Again, I have a lot of respect for somebody who's going to look at things in multiple ways, not just one. Again, you don't have to take, if we're having a discussion with Tom, Jennifer, Amber, and the rest of their team, they don't have to. We'll throw ideas at each other, but we still do some things different because that's just what we want to do in our beliefs. It's no harm, no foul, but there's mad respect. We have absolute respect. We're going to hold you to that, Kimberly. I think we've been
I love her.
Weeks. I know.
I absolutely love her.
But
I love Jen too. Jen's my girl.
Throw up suggestions as far as, hey, can we try this?
Yep, exactly. Perfect. Things that we might not have thought of before. I like that.
Absolutely. And that's a big deal with networking. If you're not networking with other teams, you are so missing out. Tim Coomer's on here right now as well.
Yeah.
He's another one that can tell you networking can give you so many different ideas. Sitting down, just talking, you don't have to even be investigating, but getting ideas of what to try. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Never thought about it until somebody was talking about putting something in a jar. And I thought, well, what if we try putting flashlights in a jar too?
Right.
Get them set, put them inside of a jar, close the mason jar, whatever kind of jar is big enough to put them inside, something, another container. So you have two layers, you have another layer.
Another layer of something.
I don't know if it means anything to anybody, but somebody had talked about putting something inside.
So it would be worth a try.
It gives you another idea of what something else we can try.
And why can't you try it? Why can't you do that?
Exactly. Be willing to try anything.
Yep. People have so many different ideas and equipment and techniques. Do it as long as you can figure it out and it works and it means something. And
Jennifer, honey, I love investigating with you and your team, but you got to get your butt down here for the weekend. I'm dying for her and Tom to come spend the weekend with us.
Shay, yes, most definitely. Shay, that'd be another one. She's a trip.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
again, certain people, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, it's no different than when we work with somebody. We can tell what a person, like doing a crossing, we know what your reaction is going to be. If you don't have that reaction, I can 99% of the time, I can tell you whether or not you did a crossing or not, because there's certain things that you're going to come up that just, it's going to strike every person that does something like that. And it's only because of the time that we have spent in the field do we know this. And it's not just by reading. Reading is good, but it's not the Bible. Your personal field experience is really what's going to put you there to understand this.
That's the best.
We have jumped at everything. We have thought, oh my gosh, we have fallen for all the different types of equipment, gadgets, fancy lights. I'm speaking for myself. Let me do it that way. I have fallen for so many of those and go, oh my God, that, only to be able to debunk it later on going, son of a, and I honestly, you feel kind of stupid when you're going, I really thought that was seriously, but I did.
Right.
When I first started, I absolutely did. So if we can help people start looking at it in a better way and cutting some of those corners of time, because that does waste a lot of time, you're going to see that we don't use all the newest fancy stuff out there.
No,
there hasn't been enough time to go through it, learn it, and debunk it. No different than the pareidolia is setting yourself up even for your own equipment. Your equipment starts acting weird. You think, oh my gosh, it's interaction. No, it's your dead battery. The battery's too low. And
sometimes,
right.
Sometimes,
but
and sometimes it can be interaction, but you have to go back and double check.
But it's so easy for us in the midst of it happening, where a piece of equipment is acting either really acting up a lot or just acting so abnormal. You're thinking, oh my gosh, yes, look.
I can't wait, Jennifer. And I'm going to hold you to that promise. I will cook you the best Southern meal you've ever had, and tell Tom it will not be Scrabble. Tom does not like Scrabble.
Read out Irene's.
Irene said, I have seen videos of paranormal groups and they investigate places, but they don't announce their presence and tell the spirits their motive. Because I get the spirits in that stream tell me who they are, who are these people. Yeah, be respectful in a place where you are the outsider. So
now, when we typically go to a location, we don't typically give our names. We don't introduce ourselves because they already know who we are.
They know we're coming before we do.
Absolutely. 100% believe in that most of the time. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not times we can go to an isolated location and it's all of a sudden, but the amount of material and information that I get from Janie before we even go to a location. And again, I don't tell her what location. Now that she lives with me, it's even worse for her. I wouldn't tell her the location, the name, the area. I don't tell her anything. Jeremy, you're welcome to come too, buddy. Absolutely. Biscuits and gravy in the morning, Southern fried chicken in the evening. Come on down. It's really, really important. I was just got off that topic of where I was at. Go back up to Irene. Okay. Again, we don't announce our names. We don't introduce ourselves, but we are extremely respectful. When we go there, look, if you're one of these people that get there and all of a sudden you hear a noise, you're going, if you don't think they don't know what you're saying at that point,
like if I whisper, they can't hear me.
If you think they have a big ear sitting out in the open and they can only hear what you hear, it's energy. No different than a psychic gets it. They get it through here because it's energy. They hear what you're saying, which is why they answer us ahead of time. Often. It's not once in a while. If I'm getting ready to ask how many people are in here and we're using a spirit box, and so it's going making all that noise. If I take and I hear 3 before I ask the question, I never heard it while we're live. And then we ask the question, and we might say, oh, we heard this or whatever. But you hear it before I even ask the question because they knew what question I was about to ask and they already answered it. Jeremy, you're funny. What do you have? He says, oh, the Homer drool.
This went from a topic of pareidolia to Southern cooking with Jamie.
That's okay. Everybody come on down. I'll cook you a great old big meal.
And she'll continue right after ours in 13 minutes.
I would love to have you guys, Jeremy, Jennifer, and Kimberly. Kimberly's had a little sample, but she hasn't had real Southern cooking, just a breakfast sandwich.
Come on over, Kimberly. We'll get something stirred up anyway.
Wayne just said you don't need all the fancy equipment out there, just your eyes, ears, pen, paper, and a good old flashlight. So
come on, April.
I just wish more people would take the time, and we need to take more time, talk about the debunking, talk about just how much affects. And look, at first it's going to hurt people's feelings when you say, because people go, why do you have to be mean like that? Why do you have to tell them that it wasn't paranormal? I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And when I absolutely know because I see the translucent and it's in the dark and somebody's trying to take a picture and there's a blur and it's the same person here as it is here. Good Lord. I know it's a slow shutter speed when you took the picture. Okay. I know what what is causing it. I'm not going to sit there and lie to them and go, oh my gosh, you got the craziest.
Right.
I had one individual that I spent probably an hour and a half with talking at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. She had some awesome videos and pictures. And I'm going, wow. And you didn't do these with any type of like smoke, cigarette smoke, vape. No, I called them all, I just come across this and they just always come around me and everything. When I come across somebody like that, Chantel, thanks for being on.
Hey, Chantel.
If it's somebody that I'm around, I invite them to go with us to a location because you know what I want to do? I want to see what they're actually capturing. And ironically, the person now is not capturing anything. I'm like, okay, this is kind of strange. And then again, that one ended up being because I want to know if the person really does have if they do, I want to support them.
Right. And we're not bringing this up on the live to try to make people feel like we don't take any respect or anything of what they put out there. What we're trying to do is we want the paranormal field to be respected.
Yes.
So that more people will be interested in it and get more involved. But that's hard to do for people unless you can have integrity where you can show, okay, look, we got this. But the reason we know that this is what we say it is because we tried this, and this, and we couldn't debunk it. So it's not like we just want those people, that's not real, or that's not why we're doing it. We want the paranormal field to be respected. And it's hard to respect any field, no matter what it is about, unless it has true integrity. And when people just throw stuff out there like that, and Rob can look at it or anybody else can look at it, and within the first 10 seconds know that, okay, that's not what that was a deer. That's not giving the field respect because they're putting stuff out there that they know isn't real. I mean, come on. I'm a female and I knew that was a deer standing in that field. I'm half blind and I knew that was a deer standing in that field.
You had something?
Well, yeah, it's about the lady at Gettysburg with the pictures and stuff she was showing. And she was showing everybody. Like, she had all these people almost like everybody convinced that these are legit pictures.
Yeah.
Real and like really cool.
And I'll bet no one that she showed them to asked her if she debunked them or tried to.
Until the day that I went out to an area and we had some people that we
were at Sachs Bridge actually when this happened. And we were down in investigating.
We had some other people that we were hanging out with. Y'all went off to investigate different area, and I stayed there on the bridge myself with a couple other people, talking to them. And this particular lady shows up, and the girl that was with me, we're talking to, she's vaping. Like she's vaping, doing her thing, which okay, do it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see this picture taken, and she's like, "Oh my Lord, look what I got! Oh, look at this! This is real, really." So seeing that in person, she didn't realize who I was at that point in time.
Right.
Yeah.
And then until she saw my shirt, and she's like, "Oh, you're with Elite." Well, yeah. Now I just caught you.
And just like debunking a photo or a video, you debunk the person.
Right.
She's swarping down that she didn't do there was nothing. She didn't lie in a way. She wasn't vaping or smoking, but she's taking pictures in areas. Right. She's taking pictures in areas where other people are doing things that can affect her
Your
photos.
Breath, smoking, vaping. Yep. And that's what these pictures were.
Yeah.
I mean,
later on at that time we were there for the Battlefield Bash, and then sure enough, there she was back talking to more people, more vendors, more participants of the bash, trying to convince them of what she had. So what am I going to do? Yeah, I'm running my mouth. I'm going up there going, no, and if you do it again, I'll call you out live. Stop doing that shit.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm calling people out. I really don't care
because it doesn't put a good light on the paranormal field. And like I said, we want people to respect this field enough to get interested in it, and they're never going to do that if people aren't putting out real evidence.
If you can catch stuff and show stuff that we can't debunk, awesome job. Amazing.
Absolutely.
But when you purposely do it and just try to make it look good and give yourself a good name.
I agree, Jeremy. Thank you, buddy. Jeremy says, yes, we need this field respected. And by having that, we need legitimacy. Absolutely.
And I think it was Chrissy or somebody said about, you telling them the truth isn't being mean, but a lot of people take it to heart. A lot of people.
Yeah, no, really boy, I'll tell you what.
That we be.
Trust me, I am not going to pee down nobody's back and try to tell them that it's raining.
But we have caught, I know I personally have caught a lot of flack for it. Like, why do you have, and again, I really don't care if I'm not out trying to hurt everybody's feelings, but I think it's about time that we put our foot down and go, look, man, come on, don't make a mockery out of our field, because we respect this field. We really, we want people to have integrity in this field and enjoy it. And Joe Public doesn't see it that way. Joe Public sees everything as being demonic, and we're going right backwards into the stigma that, hey, you're into devil worship if you're into the paranormal, and we don't want to go there.
No, we don't.
The door's open. It's a matter for us as a general field to drive it whichever way we want to drive it. And people that are putting in this mockery stuff is not helping whatsoever.
And the pictures that this person was showing was all paradise. I mean, you could tell, like, you had shapes of like what looked like horses and stuff, and it's just the way the debate was at that current time.
But again, we took the time to go ahead and say, okay, you know what, this is really cool. If this is the case, that's great. As long as there's nothing, go in the field with us. We go in the field. Now all of a sudden the woman's not producing anything, and the one time she does is when she starts snapping stuff in front of somebody vaping. Pretty dead giveaway.
You're right, Jennifer. Jennifer says when people put more fake crap out there, it makes our job that much harder to prove it. Exactly.
Like Amber, people would never take us seriously and think it's a joke because of all the people throwing fake stuff.
Exactly.
And it's going to be that way. I mean, it don't matter what we do or what we try, it's always going to be that way. Just, unfortunately, it's just.
Now I'm going to post somebody's name. She's actually getting ready to start up a team. She's looking to start up a team in, I believe it's Northeast Pennsylvania. So if anybody's in Northeast Pennsylvania, it's somebody you might want to talk to if you're looking to do the paranormal. But again, anybody on it that's looking to go into the paranormal team, if you don't have integrity, don't bother with anybody that we're talking about, because they don't want you. If you don't have integrity, if you think you need to make something up to be something, you could go for months, you could go for years. There's people say, oh, I've never experienced anything in years, but they still go at it. That's integrity. That's they're still going at it, still trying to feel it. You could go out there in a week and have an incredible paranormal experience. Everybody's different. But if you're going to make something up, it only takes one time, and reputation is everything. So if you have a person that's basically manipulating things on your team, that can take the whole team out. And it doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 20 years or 2 weeks, that takes everybody out. That's wrong.
And you also have to remember, too, that there is a lot of picture apps out there, all type of filters that people can use to convert and try to make things look real that aren't. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. Like it's so we've seen a lot of it, and I've even put a picture up a long time ago that it was even posted that this was edited. This was to prove a point. And it was a picture of we had a cemetery. I took a picture of like a burial mound type thing. And I told Rob about it. I said, hey, I'm going to take it and watch what happens. And it was even captioned in my thing, hey, this was edited from this picture. And it was all a filter app. It was all, I made it transparent. So it looked like translucent orbs. People like, oh, yeah, I see it.
I see it. That. And it wasn't. He knew that he put it there purposely to see if people would see
side by side. One clear and one had this stuff. And that's
even after he explains that he did that, he's got people arguing with him. Even after we were talking about the one that goes in Gettysburg with the windshield wiper, and it's explained in detail. And then here you go. You got people coming back going, no, that's not a water droplet that did that. Yeah, that whole line is a water droplet. When water goes over something, it does that magnification, and it just, you can go right over it. People want so bad to see what they think.
They want to see what they want to see, just like most people want to hear what they want to hear. You could say it to them in writing and in verbal words, however, but if they don't want to hear it, they're not going to hear it.
Jeremy kind of did the same thing that I was talking about. He actually he would post a picture of something known that it wasn't paranormal, but what I would do is ask people to tell me what they think is paranormal, and then I would explain to them what it actually is. So
excellent.
Used for education purposes. But
Robin, thanks for being on with us.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, Rob.
And again, we're not knocking people for wanting to believe, but instead of you looking at it as just being yourself and the small little world you're in, public is big. Paranormal has a huge following, and where we go with it is really up to the people that are posting material out there. So it can be taken as being serious. People are already scared enough to go ahead because of ridicule and whatnot to even call us and say, hey, look, I think I've got something going on in my house. They spend so much time trying to convince us they're not crazy. That's horrible. People with abilities that have abilities, truly have abilities, they're so scared to go ahead and try to figure out who do I talk to, how do I deal with it, because they know they're experiencing it, they just don't know why, but they don't know where to go.
Again, it's because there's so many people out there putting the fake stuff up. There are so many fake psychics, mediums, whatever the hell you want to call them, that when people actually meet somebody that can do it and get real detailed personal information that there's no way they could have known other than just general 2 or 3 pages of crap anybody could have looked up, it blows them away.
Right.
It just absolutely, or me, somebody that's never even had a reading from me before, never even spoken to me. But because of all of the fake ones that are out there, they'll automatically hit my page up and say, it's a hoax, she's a fake. How do you know? You've never had a reading from me. You're judging me by what other people are putting out there. They'll do the same thing with the paranormal field. They'll judge the entire field by what those few people are putting out there that isn't even real. It's not, you know what I mean?
Real quick,
Not good.
Robin, thank you very much for sharing it to so many groups. I sincerely appreciate that. We appreciate that very much. Just want to throw that out there. Thank
Yes,
you very
we
much,
do.
Robin.
Yes, Jeremy.
There's been so many times where people will come up to me and show me a picture that somebody sent to them, and they said, "Oh yeah, this is real ghost stuff," and I'm looking at it going, "No, it's not." So
They
then
send
I
them to
have
him all the time.
right. So then I have to explain to them, and I try to educate them that, look, no, it's not this. This is what it is, and I can pretty much pull up any app y'all use.
And 9 times out of 10, instead of saying,
recreate
oh,
it.
yeah, you're right, it could be that, they were like, no, you're wrong. I know that's what that is.
Right.
Yesterday,
So
I was just on our page, as a matter of fact. We have a group which you can share paranormal stuff on. You can post your events. You can share your team link on it or anything like that. And then we have our page that we this should be shared. You did share this to our page,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. We're on the Things Network platform right now, which we sincerely appreciate so much. Jeremy York is the one that actually has this, has created it for us and for so many other teams, and we sincerely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So on our group page, to be able to share on that, pretty much anybody can. You just ask, hey, can I join? We go ahead and let you join, as long as you're putting on stuff with the paranormal. It's not fake. I just don't tolerate fake stuff. Somebody puts on one, it's thermal images, and they do this where they draw with a magic marker, outlining whatever, and the outline doesn't even match the thermal coloration, which, okay, so you're just going to draw characters and say, okay, this is it. Well, everything, if you look at one picture to the other, pretty much everything's changed. And we're looking at this. And I'll go on. I say, look, there's not enough on here. And I did. I sent the message back, just said, hey, there's not enough on here. Do you have anything else to follow up with? Because this isn't showing anything. I'm just being honest. I really don't, again, I want people to be able to see something if it's realistic. The second one was the actual video. Well, guess what you can do with videos? You can freeze them. Why do people not freeze videos? Because when you freeze videos, you really get a sense of what's really there. With Janie, I did the same thing. We go to a location, if she's getting tormented and something's coming behind her leg and knocking her leg from behind her, so she's falling or whatever, I've even got that in slow motion. I'm reversing it, I'm going forward. I'm meticulous about that. I really want to know. So when I see somebody with a very crisp baseball cap, pretty sure it's not a ghost. I mean, he didn't run into a wall and the cap fall down. I mean, if it did, that would have been really cool. And then it disappeared. Wasn't the case. It was CCTV camera. The guy's going, oh, no, there's nobody here. There's no. Look, you can say anything you want, but be realistic. I mean, ghosts ain't running around with a baseball cap. Sorry, it just ain't happening. And if it is, that baseball cap goes through that wall, I'd be really impressed. It didn't happen.
And thing of it is, if you've gotten something
Went
on
through an active
film
doorway
or on audio and you're not sure if it's real or not, don't put it out there as the real thing. Put it out there as just that. I captured this, but I'm not sure if this is really what it is. Can other people give me some feedback and let me know what I could do to try to debunk it? Whatever. But don't just throw it out there and say, oh, it's real. I know it's real.
And there has been some fantastic people who have done that. And they don't. Other people get pissed at me when I go ahead and say what I honestly think it is. Number one, the CCTV camera that is pointed, so you're seeing black and white, and then you have that translucent figure that goes across it. Well, if they give you a little bit longer, a lot of times you end up catching that little piece of spider web that's drifting in it that just happens to catch it. Well, if you put anything, little gnat or anything really close up to that camera lens, it looks translucent. The camera's shooting basically around it, and it looks like it's shooting through it. Yeah. Now, if you don't know that, it can make that image look like it's actually just floating through the air or whatever. There's a lot that we get so often because we have CCTV cameras. We use them constantly. Hell, I've got them outside for the deer and the wildlife to watch. Yeah. We see things that happen, but if you're not used to it, You're not going to know.
We were actually out there one night, and there was like, we don't know if it was a cobweb or what it was, but it was just floating around in front of, back and forth in front of the lens. And to anybody else that saw that, they would have sworn there was a ghost walking across the backyard. Yeah. It was some. Rob went out, knocked off the lens. We haven't seen it again since.
I didn't even find a cobweb out there.
Exactly.
But do I honestly think it? No, come on, because it's the same thing as what we've seen before. We know what it is. Just because I didn't find it at that time doesn't mean that something didn't come by and brush it. We have deer that come up and lick the damn camera.
Exactly.
So a deer could have cleaned it for us. Who knows?
We are at an hour and 5 minutes.
All right, we're gonna jump off here in just a moment. Having a blast though with you guys. Robin always asks, "What do you think?" I'm not sure.
I'm always ask, what do you think about asking other people for evidence?
Don't just show them something and say, this is it. Show
Absolutely.
them and say, what do you think? Yeah.
And it's the same thing we do with EVPs or ITC clips. ITC clips is when you're using some type of media like a spirit box. I don't necessarily go, look, I just caught what this said, dead demon coming. I'm going to put it out there and try to let some people hear it. The problem is a lot of people can't hear things very well. It's a range. Everybody's got a different range that they can hear. Yeah. So it makes it a little bit harder. And we'll get into talking more about the ITC, about the audible, listening to audio.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You
guys can go longer if you want.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. Absolutely. Audio is it's not crazy tricky, but you have to learn to hear audio. No different than EVPs. Most of the time you have to learn to hear them because everybody's listening to our conversation and they don't listen to that little below it because most of the EVPs are actually very low. And you get in the habit of listening to just our tone and you're listening for something else, jump out at you. You know, it doesn't usually do that. That's going to be rare that you're going to have one so loud but a lot of times it's going to be while we're talking too. So when we go to ask questions, that's why we stop.
And I know recently we did a couple of investigations where we get a little bit more interaction if we're just having a general conversation just between like you and I or Janie and I three together. You'll get voices in there like, hey, excuse me, why aren't you paying attention to me? So.
Right.
Thank you so much, Gina. You're so way too kind. Thank you very, very much. The whole point is always trying to be open-minded and understand you don't know everything. If you're in this field and you think you know everything,
probably in the wrong field.
Yeah, realistically, because there's no way. We kind of get a kick out of TV. Always likes to say the expert. This expert, this paranormal expert, and those of us in the field going, not really so much the expert. We believe they're seasoned, very seasoned people. I believe I'm seasoned. I believe we're seasoned. But do we know everything to a point that we're going to be, I know I'm 100% right every time I walk out of here or I tell you something. I'm going to push what I know. And if I don't know, I'm going to go, I'm not sure how that works.
And we do that with everything,
yes.
Not just investigating. We do that when I do walks. We do that when I do reads for clients. If I'm not 100% sure, I'll tell Rob, I'm not picking it up clear enough to be 100% sure, but I think this is what I'm getting. And then he'll see if it kind of coincides with what the client is getting or whatever. But it's no different than with what I do. You can do this forever, guys, and never be an expert at it, ever, because there's so much you learn every single step of the way.
Thank you, Jeremy, for putting that up there. Jeremy just put up the YouTube for Things Network. It has our videos, for our conversations that we do. We will be going live and doing lives, and they'll be on there as well. But there's a lot of really, really good teams on there. Teams and people. If you look at those, if you go onto the YouTube, you can catch so much. And that's really what we need to do is, again, you're always looking, but watch for the stuff and not just on the Things Network. I don't care. Honestly, you have to look at things. I know I see a couple of, I'll be calling them out here before long because I really despise them, but I'm sorry. I see people that have, they'll have a couple hundred people watching at a time, and it is they have 16 people crammed in a little room. Yes. I can't get a room to be quiet with 6 people in it. 16 people? Literally 16 people.
We can't get a room quiet if we only have 1 in it, Sean.
Well, that's true, too.
The ones that kill me are the static cams. I came to Rob one time. I was like, what in the hell? I thought I was waiting to see something happen.
But she watched it.
I watched it for like 20 minutes and I was like, what am I waiting? So I finally got in the comments and I'm like, did I miss it? What are we waiting for? And everybody's like, oh no, they just leave it running for 24 hours. Like, you sit here and watch this for 24 hours? Are you kidding me?
And some people do.
They do.
We've had, don't get me wrong, we've had 6 people in a room at a time, okay? By the time you put the camera person in, the person behind the keyboards, a couple people up front. No, he says he can be quiet. We've had multiple people in a room and everything. And, I tell everybody ahead of time, look, because if something happens, we were at KOA and we had a bunch of the people that work KOA for the haunted house.
Right.
And we set them down in a room. And all of a sudden we have somebody walking in across the floor towards us. And I get up and I'm springing to go meet whoever's coming our way to get them to calm down. Of course, there's nobody there. I get there's going to be excitement, but then things can happen where you can hear something, a whistle out of nowhere. And I heard it. Shh.
Yeah.
You have to have control of that room. 16 people.
Right.
Dude, you ain't got no control of nothing, and everybody's talking. You're like, oh, listen to this EVP we caught. No, you did not.
At that point, you just basically just.
It's a wash.
Yeah, that way, at that point, even if you caught something very serious, you got to throw it out because there's so much.
It is so hard for us to control just a few people, much less to have that many people, and then yet they're gonna still post it. Oh my gosh, look at what we caught.
And they're small rooms anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had all these extra people. I mean, it wasn't really like an actual investigation.
No, in that case, right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Just kind of let them experience some stuff and kind of work with them a little bit. But yeah, still, you can't. There's no way you can work with that many people and have a legit investigation
And have it be clean, because you're going to have.
Being actors and actresses other place, though, it was easier for me to go ahead and say, shh, and everybody stopped.
Right.
Compared to half the people I've investigated with over the past, in all sincerity, could not shut up. I mean, they're just still, oh my God, though, did you hear that? Well, gee, we can't hear again because you're too busy running your yap.
And then you always say, look, don't whisper. Don't. You always. It doesn't matter how many times you stop whispering.
Amber, she said, my dad and Brent, one of the worst. They laugh way too much. Amber, honey, I hear you, but I love you, Dad, so I can't say anything.
But yeah, but it's like, much you tell them to not whisper, somebody's still going to whisper. It just, I don't know. Maybe
it
I can
happens.
be quiet. No, they can still hear you. Okay. Or, we need you to speak up. It doesn't matter if you got to talk. At least you're talking. At least we know you're talking. So we want.
Yeah, because then it's someone in the room speaking and not something that might be paranormal. You tell people that on investigations all the time. Please, if you need to speak loud enough for me to know that it's a living human. I don't want to go back and listen to it later and think that I'm picking up something that's not really there.
And we're not picking or throwing everybody under the bus that is just somebody who's never been in the field. We got people on TV that go with us. I said no whispering.
Yeah.
Good Lord. You've been on TV before. Shouldn't you know not to whisper? And you're still over there.
Right.
Or shh. Because they want to just keep talking the whole damn time. It's like, I love to talk. You guys can vouch for that. Shut the hell up.
Yeah,
Please.
Sometimes you got to be still to hear the real stuff.
When we go into a room, and I truly believe this is where a lot of people miss it at, people don't let their bodies acclimate. I have a process, and it's I am methodical in the sense of how I want people to investigate when we're controlling the investigation. If I'm going with another group, then I'm with their investigation. I'm trying to follow what they do. A lot of times I just want to watch them for just a little bit so I can fit right into them. I don't want to do something that's going to go adversely against them or anything like that. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. So when we go to a location, I'm like, look, the first thing I want you to do is go into a room, especially when we're not live. If we're live, we only do it for about a minute. When we're not live, we sit down, get comfortable, and just chill for 5 minutes. It's letting your body acclimate. Your eyes will adjust to the dark. Your hearing will adjust. Things will adjust. No different than your breathing. If you're like me and you go up a couple now it's one flight of stairs, 3 steps. You go up a flight or 2 of steps. And
I was going to say it's not even a flight. It's like 4 steps, 5 steps.
Oh my God, that's my heavy breathing. And when you actually hear it on a recorder a couple times, you're going to know, oh, darn, that's me. that sucks. But you don't know until you actually start recording stuff like that. And then you can go ahead and start tagging. You hear a dog that's barking outside. Hey, disregard the noise out there. It's a dog or a car passing by. Right. If you just take the time to slow down, and then before we even get started, really most of the time with questions, The first thing I'm doing is, hey, for anybody that's here with us, any ghost spirits, anything you want to call yourself, anybody that's in here in our presence, if you can hear me, we don't mean any disrespect. We're trying to talk to you. We just want to communicate. So I'm setting the intentions. I'm not coming here to fight with you unless it's obviously a very negative situation. But even starting out with those, we start out the same way, do we not?
Yep.
We want to start out saying, hey, we don't go, hey, I'm Pete, I'm Rob, I'm this, I'm whoever.
Jeremy, I've tested their stamina. Trust me when I tell you.
Yeah, no kidding.
I've tested them, brother. They can't keep up. Rob told me I need to start carrying around mountain climbing equipment when we go on outdoor investigations.
It's not even funny. It is so irritating. And I don't care because she'll go in the dark. Like she's got she can see in the dark and I can't. Well, for the guys, you understand they build the tables at a certain height that's not very friendly to most guys. She'll be running right through a kitchen in a heartbeat. You're trying to keep up with her and she's still pulling on you. Come on. And you're banging into the tables at that really inappropriate height. You're not going to go
I
over
don't
too
do it
fast.
on purpose.
You go outside. Oh, she wants to go where the goats don't even go anymore. Okay. Briar brush and everything. Yo, stop.
Oh gosh.
That's
And poor
irritating.
Freddie on some of them. He'll say, I'm just going to sit this one out.
I'm
He's
just
a
gonna
smart
stay here.
one.
I'm gonna stay here because when Jenny gets something, she goes. It don't matter. You're swimming in water or whatever. Just go.
He tells me when we get on location, he says, you just go where you feel you need to go. We'll follow. So I do that.
And I go. I'll stay
Paranormal
here.
Fitness 101.
I agree, Jeremy.
Oh, no kidding.
And I'm just like, I'll stay back here. Y'all need me? Call.
Yeah.
Just whatever. But
That's,
I mean, I've seen her.
you don't understand. I get the pull. I got to go.
I have it, but I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. If
Can't
I
take
do,
the path. It's just a little bit farther out.
no,
but
because
open.
that's not the way they're leading me. I have to go the direction they're leading me.
Through the briar patch.
I'm gonna
Well,
lead you this way, okay?
Because I never know if they're leading me on the unbeaten path because there's something there I'm meant
It's
to
always
see
on
or
the
pick
unbeaten
up.
path. Jamie.
Or I can't help it. I can't. You know I'm scared of snakes and bugs. I wouldn't do it on purpose.
Not at that point. You don't seem to be scared of anything. Give
'Cause
us a
I'm not-
briar brush and everything.
That's because I'm not looking at that stuff. I'm just focused on what or who it is that's needing me to come there. Thank you, Gina. Gina, he's done pulled my hair like 4 times during this live. You need to get on him, girlfriend.
Shay, absolutely.
Oh yeah, like how your tumble rumbles. You immediately.
Oh
say that was
Lord,
me,
did
no
we
one
have
else
that
did.
issue before?
There's a couple of guys,
Right.
a couple of people. Well, not just guys.
Gals.
Girls.
I thought they were the bear in the room.
God bless her. I love her, but I swear we couldn't take her nowhere. It's because she never eat nothing but damn grass. I told her if you'd eat some meat or something once in a while, we wouldn't have to have that all the time.
You get into a room that's very still, very quiet, and somebody has a tummy that absolutely,
Yeah, and it's not a
rumbles.
low rumble. It's like,
yeah, multiple times people have honestly thought it was a growl coming out,
Right.
yeah, people
And
think it's a demon growling at
And
them.
it doesn't matter what you eat prior to the investigation. Somebody's tummy always
Absolutely.
rumbles.
Absolutely.
It does it.
But so often there's certain individuals, if you investigate with them, you'll find out who the individuals are. I can sit there and go, was that you, Freddie? And Freddie goes, no, it wasn't Freddie in this particular case, but it was always the same thing. I'm like, I know damn well it's coming from his stomach. It's like, good Lord, you don't hear that?
Sean, I have no idea what you're talking about. Of course you don't.
Shay, you're not helping. What's going on? You're supposed to be on my side.
Thank you, Gina. Shay, I love you. They're my girls. Kim is too. I'm getting a whole tribe of females on here for me.
Shay. I'm going to call Gina. I'm going to call.
I say that all the
Kimberly
time,
coming
girls.
Down the road.
I always say that all the time. I'm telling Gina, telling Shay. See, pushing me away.
Nobody's
He's coming
touching
right
you.
on back up here.
Well, guys, we're going to get ready to get off here in just a moment. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. I will go ahead and go back to our banners, make sure we display.
Jeremy, thank you again so much for letting us go over some of this live. We really do appreciate it.
For anybody who's jumping on at the end, I'm going to go right back through. I had one little video I played earlier. I want to go right back through it again for some of you guys. It's worth checking out. And this is when we were talking about pareidolia, what you see. It could be a flower that looks like something else. You got to figure it out for yourself. Is one of them. One of them at the end is going to be a cloud. And if you have not seen it already or have not participated, because we've got a few different people on here, just put in the comments what you see at the end of this video. It's I think 40 seconds long. Just take a moment and let us know what you see.
And please continue to share this out, share this video out. And yes, Kimberly, I agree. Yes, Sheila, I agree with you too, honey.
It's pretty cool that this is an artist that turned around and looked at one and came out with it. Pictures of the moon. You know, is that a face? Is it not a face? What it looks like to us is certainly a face.
Yeah.
A nose, mouth, eyes. That's a flower, but what else do you get off that? And a lot of people are going to say something else. And again, in a cloud, most people are going to sit there and automatically see this as a face, but most people don't see this as a horn, an eye, the nose, the chin. It's just, again, we were talking about pareidolia. That one was a pretty good little clip that we just put together really quick just before we started the show, just to be able to show you examples of it. And it was pretty wild how quickly we came up with different.
It was. All three of us saw something
specifically, different. You called out George Washington as being
it was like
the one face. And sure enough, somebody else called out the exact same George Washington. So how each of us.
But then the minute you said what you saw,
yes,
then other people started to see it too. It was like so easy to get caught up in that. So easy to get caught up in that, guys.
They are really cool as far as when you look at them. And again, it just gives you really good examples.
Jeremy said we can go to base till 5 p.m. So
oh, Jeremy, no, honey.
How long y'all want to go each week? Go for it.
Sweetheart, I can't go that long with these two.
I don't know why.
Here they go, pushing me back again.
Now Amber said she saw it that time. So.
Oh, did Amber see it that time?
Kimberly saw George Washington too instantly.
It's really neat. The skull and the flower, right?
See, Kim, I didn't see a skull. I told Rob, I said, it looks like a wilted rose to me.
Not a surprise.
Dawn saw the George Washington too, so. But do you get our point how everybody can see something there when we all know it's just the damn cloud?
Stamina. Yeah.
I've got it, Jeremy, but these two might not like it.
No. It's again what the mind can see is amazing, but if you put it in, you push it that much more with the matrixing of the pixelation of pictures. When you enlarge them, it makes it that much worse. It's so much harder for us to determine. And that's why I think people need to get away from automatically trying to make a decision of what something is. If you can't determine it, you don't have to automatically say every place you go is either haunted, not haunted, active, not active. If something is paranormal, not paranormal, sometimes you need more information. Again, I was talking about it earlier. When I was talking to Grounded Paranormal, I had them take more pictures so I could get a better idea of what the surroundings look like in the environment. And that's not uncalled for. That's what you should be doing. The mind makes patterns to make sense. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So hopefully it's been helpful to you guys. And Joe was actually one of the people that actually asked for the information and said, hey, for some of the people that are newer to the field, how does pareidolia really affect us? So we want to actually look at questions you guys have and broach them. We want to come forward with some information that's going to make sense to you guys.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's been helpful.
Again, don't just put things out there because you know it's what people want to see or hear. It doesn't matter if they want to see it or hear it or not. In order to keep integrity in this field, you have to put out there what you know you have already went over and over and over, and you can either say yes it is or no, I'm sorry guys, it's not. You know what I mean? Right. So many times have we been on investigation and people tell me, well, you have to pick up something over here.
Even on team members.
I don't.
In the past, we had team members that would go, no, you got to go back over to the foundation of that house. It's old. It's got to have something. Remember that?
Yeah, and it didn't. It had absolutely nothing.
That's a seasoned investigator, somebody who's been with us for years, and yet they were still hung up that because it was an older foundation, it must have energy hanging on to it.
Even though that's not even the area that the client was experiencing things. Right. But that, again, it falls right into line with the whole paranormal and photos and audio and video Just because you think you hear or see something doesn't mean you did. Make sure you go over it and over it, over it. And when you can find no other explanation, then you can put it out there and say, this is what we captured and we cannot find any way to debunk this. At least then you're keeping your integrity.
If you look at the ITC, which is where you're using media like the Spirit Box, it's very popular. We use as well.
Jennifer, that's Rob's motto.
What's that?
When in doubt, throw it out.
Right. With the ITC, when we're doing live, and we do a lot of live video, well, haven't lately, but typically we do a lot of our investigations live. We want to give you an opportunity to judge for yourself. That's pretty much what it's there for. Eventually, when I have the ability and we can actually do a 360, I would love to go to 360 because I want you guys to be able to watch what's behind the camera, what's behind us, what's above us, to the side. I think that would be huge in general for people to be able to see for themselves, because then you know somebody's not really out there trying to pull one over on you. I think it's very important. Go ahead.
Jeremy, I'm sorry, sweetie. I know this show is supposed to be about something totally different, but do you know someone named Carl? I get a real strong connection between you and someone named Carl. I'm not sure why. It just popped in.
Cindy said, how do you guys get into historical places or businesses to let you investigate?
Yeah, Jeremy, Carl. Is it with a C or a K? C?
I don't know how they
Just hear
spell it. I just hear the name Carl, and I know that it's connected to you somehow. Not even sure if this person's dead or alive.
Any other type of connection to him that you're?
Not yet, but I don't know. It just, for some reason, when I was reading Jeremy's comment, that name came through really, really clear, and it kind of gave me that antsy feeling. So,
as far as for getting into, your reputation is what's going to unlock a lot more doors for you compared to most people. And however you treat that location that you go into is going to either allow you to continue to go there and or allow anybody else to go there in the future. Because what happened originally, because we all go through batteries, if you went to a location that somebody else, another team has been there before, you're going to find batteries everywhere. They leave them in windowsills, leave them all over the place. Doesn't matter if it's a paid location or somewhere.
they leave their trash also.
Absolutely. So keeping things cleaned up. If you approach them, there's a real big deal when you go to a location is if you have, there's certain paperwork that you can have that really helps out a lot. And that's to go ahead, letter of, what am I thinking? Hold harmless. If you have a whole harmless agreement so that they're not going to get sued in case somebody gets hurt at their location, they're not going to be able to sue the owner of the historical location. That's a big deal. Some people just want to have that information for themselves and they want to make sure you're not going public with it. Others are doing public tours or ghost hunts there. And if you go ahead and do a trade-off with them and say, look, if I capture some pretty good evidence by chance, if I capture something, I'll give you a copy of it yourself. I usually go ahead and just put it on a thumb drive for them. And I'll let them know, hey, we caught some things. Here's something for you to listen to. And then if you want, you can put it on your site. So it helps increase their business. It's a couple ideas to look at.
Jeremy, will you please, the next time you speak to him, will you ask him if he's having some medical issues? And I don't mean COVID. This feels like something that he may have been dealing with for quite some time, but nobody's been able to figure out how to take care of it. I'm not sure what that means. I just know that I heard his name was connected to you somehow, and I needed to get that message out there so you could get it to him. Thank you.
Shay, I always debunk things, but I never accept things until Rob beats. Again, that's just, and it's Shay keeps doubting herself, and there's no reason to doubt yourself after you. I've seen what you've been able to do, Shay, and again, that's always part of the startup process for those with abilities. Apologize for the short breath.
Cindy, I feel your pain, sweetie. I wasn't on the team, but I did do a couple of investigations with one time that never again.
Yeah, you really want to be around people that you think are going to bring out the better part of the ability to investigate, or you want it to be enjoyable, but again, you have to find out anybody that wants to get into this. Why are you doing it? That's a big deal that I have is, are you doing it for fun? Are you doing it because you want to just document? Are you doing it for scientific purposes? And I'm not knocking the scientists. There's a little cliche there. Or are you doing it to help people? And some of them can be mixed, but you can't really just have the thrill seeker actually the thrill seekers that just go out and do it for fun are not really going to be the ones that are going to be as into it as those that are truly out to help people. That's kind of two different groups. Older gentleman, I think he's working on trying to quit smoking.
Jeremy, I feel like this has something to do with the vascular system because my blood feels like it's rushing through my veins. So just let him know. I have no idea what it means, but I wanted to put it out there so that if it is something that's important or something that it has to be important or they wouldn't have given it to me. Just let him know what I said today and let him take it from there, buddy.
Cindy said thank you. So
that's the way it happens with people with abilities. Is a lot of it's just going to come. They get a particular pull to whoever, whatever, and I don't fully understand.
I don't either.
I've seen.
I don't either.
But again, she's learned what changes on her when she gets a connection to something. She's paying attention what's changing on her, like she said about the blood. That's very, very important. And that's where I think a lot of people miss out from. Instead of, they just think they're being attacked rather than saying, hey, look, now that I've got this connection, this is what I'm getting. And it's just learning yourself, learning how your body reacts.
Same way with the photos, learning what to look for and what to debunk.
I'll even go to that with the photos. I mean, there's people that can look at photos, which I've done with Janie when it's been missing persons. And all I do is I just send her a picture of a person. There's no writing to it whatsoever, just wherever. And I send it to her.
And believe me, I never know. There's sometimes when I get pictures of these women, I'm like, what in the hell is he sending me pictures of women for?
And that's all it is. And I'm waiting for her to give me the read on them. And she can read certain pictures, no different than when people send us pictures. A lot of times she can tell me what she's getting from a picture. But there are plenty of people that are psychics, mediums, whatever, and they look at a picture. I'm looking at the picture and I'm going, okay, I know it's a slow shutter speed. And they're telling me all about all the different ghosts that are on it.
Right.
I'm like,
you're looking at it thinking, no, it's not.
It's not. Now, if you're getting that, I understand that. But just to get, because if I take a picture from here and the person's there and there's a big black behind them on the wall, well, and I'm using a flash, that black is the shadow that's being cast because it's at that angle. I know exactly what it is. It's curved just like the person's head and shoulders. It doesn't mean that there's a shadow person behind them when it's the same outline of them from that angle. You
right.
know what I mean?
Right.
But everybody gets sucked into it so easily.
Yeah, instead of looking at the person here that's creating the shadow to try to put the two and two together, they're only looking at the shadow.
Yes.
Because they want to see that so bad.
Yep.
Same with readings.
Yes.
I'll give people a reading and they'll be like, no, that's right. But no, that's not what I wanted to hear.
Right.
I wanted to talk to my grandma. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help you any. If she didn't want to talk to you when she was live, she won't talk to you now.
Freddie, you ready to jump off here?
Yeah, we can. But you want to talk about shutter speed real quick?
Yep.
I ain't got my glasses, Fred.
The lights, just how easy.
Yeah.
You'll have to put it towards the.
I don't know if they'll be able to see it clearly.
I'm going to try to get it closer to them. Hang in there. I'm going to adjust it for you just a little bit. See the squirrely light right in the center? You got the white light and it's going all over the place. That is simply taking a picture at nighttime because we all shake just a tiny bit, whatever. And the slower that shutter speed goes, the more of that little zag you get, only because your hand actually just barely moves.
Yep.
Mine, it would look like spaghetti all across her right now, as bad as I'm shaking. That's all it is. It's not that big. Cindy, I'm a second medium.
I've been trying to get into a library that had a cemetery on the land. I knew at 14 the graves were still there, and they just moved headstones. It was proven a few years ago.
Outstanding, Cindy. Great job.
Happens a lot, darling.
Yeah, really does.
Happens a lot.
We're going to go ahead and jump off here. Thank you so much for spending some time
Yes, everybody,
with us.
thanks.
We sincerely appreciate it.
Please continue to share the video, though, please.
Jeremy, thank you for letting us stay on a little longer.
Yes,
buddy.
Jeremy.
Really
I can't wait to
buddy.
meet Jeremy in person. He seems like such a cool guy.
You bring up that pic real quick.
What's that?
That picture you just had.
I'm going to go, guys, because I got to go pee. This coffee's doing its job. Everybody have a great Sunday, please. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.
This is the picture. Again, I'm trying to make it a little bit closer for you. I know you're getting a reflection of the.
Sorry, it's not the best picture, guys.
It's just the idea of it. We just wanted to throw that out to you. Jenny, yes, I asked whether or not if she had anything as far as Shay, just to give you your answer as far as the missing little girl. She's got no more information about it. I did ask her about it. I apologize for not following up with you. Again, guys, thank you so much for being on with us. Definitely appreciate it.
We do. Thank you guys so much.
I love her sign off. Gotta pay, gotta go.
Great show. Bye-bye.
We're out of here, guys.
See ya.
Kimberly, get in touch with us soon, please.
Yep. Take care, guys.